A lot of people are talking about bioweapons and they're talking about 5G, and I wasn't really buying into it. So I started doing my own research, and what I found is more terrifying than the conspiracy theories. So let's first define some terms. Chemical weapons are things that irritate us. Deadly chemicals things like mustard gas, chlorine, just purely organic chemistry, which can really mess around the human body and have been used in past warfare. But bioweapons are a bit different. Many countries have military biological warfare labs. The famous one in Britain is, of course, Porton Down.
For decades, it's been the top secret military facility that rarely grants access. But today we've had a glimpse behind the closed doors at Porton Down.
And we've been hearing about a lab in Wuhan, but they're everywhere. Russia, America, Israel, lots of countries do research, probably quite bad research, into biological weapons. You all know that, but what you probably don't know, that there's a whole new class of bioweapons being researched, truly terrifying ones. Let me tell you about them today. As a member of the public and a science researcher, the first time I really came across the concept of a binary bioweapon was in the tragic poisoning in Salisbury, England.
In March, sleepy Salisbury, a small city an hour from London, became the centre of international intrigue when a former Russian spy, Sergei Skripal, and his daughter Yulia were found catatonic on this bench. Poisoned by a chemical nerve agent, they spent weeks in hospital, causing authorities to quarantine areas like the pub and restaurant they'd been dining in and their home. Members of the emergency services who attended them also became ill, an early sign of just how dangerous the quickly identified Russian Novichok was.
A Russian defector, his daughter, 2 members of the public, and some police officers were affected by a nerve agent, probably administered by Russian agents in England a few years ago. And the agent that they used is called Novichok. It's a Russian nerve agent, but it's very different, and it reveals a doorway to something very dark. Of course, chemical weapons, bioweapons, nerve gas, and that kind of stuff is outlawed, but countries ignore that. They want to have their own fail-safe stockpile, just in case. And Russia came up with something new. The nerve agent that was used in the Salisbury poisonings is a binary agent, and that's what I'm going to talk about today. Binary chemical warfare, or specifically binary bioweapons, have some amazing advantages and are deeply disturbing. First of all, they get round possible protocols by each of the precursors of the agent being rather benign. Also, each precursor is potentially safe to transport. And even more interesting, each precursor could be something else. And only when they come together do they form a deadly pathogen. That's clever and terrifying, but it gets worse. So what I'm going to say now is the part of the video which probably will get everybody into big trouble, but I think you need to know what's going on. Biolabs are working on ways of triggering biological weapons using electromagnetic or radiation. So what is electromagnetic radiation? Well, it's the stuff that's in the air all the time. You might be using it now if you're watching this film on a wireless device, an iPad, a phone that isn't hardwired into the phone system. You have a Wi-Fi router which is actually using the same frequency as the dreaded 5G proposal. So what's new, pussycat? But back to the biological weapons. Imagine a weapon that could be switched on, probably not switched off, but triggered by your phone, or from a radar signal, a handheld dish, or even from a satellite in space. So I don't normally do films like this because it sounds crazy and you can totally just ignore it. Or you can go and research it yourself and you'll find that there is research in using electromagnetic radiation to trigger biological processes. Early stuff. But this research is done by weapons labs. So what does this really mean? I really don't know. It might be a force for good, but I worry a lot of the research is being done at places like Porton Down and in labs in other countries to produce a weapon which could be remotely triggered. Let me know what you think. Now, I worry that half of you are going to say, yeah, Professor, it's 5G technology. They'll switch it on and we'll all drop dead. I think that's unlikely. And I think the other half of you say, why are you doing this story? Because it's so speculative. Well, to both sides, I say, I've done my research. These things are being developed. I don't think, therefore, are good. And you need to know about them because the truth is out there. Stay safe, stay well, and stay tuned. If you enjoyed this film, you might also like my film on Britain's Area 51 and a film on the Philadelphia experiment.